Hello everyone, I am vexed today. I waited to get all the facts before uploading this video because people make accusations now for no reason. There was a TikToker from Italy called the Inquisitor. I only heard about him through Ray William Johnson and Roma Army because I don't use TikTok, but I am now furious on his behalf because the people who did this and caused him to feel like that are going to have zero consequences. This man turned himself to soil because of false allegations. He was completely innocent, and that is what makes me so sad. The screenshots, in context, are innocent, but because the pictures were cropped and the people who were talking about this were big and had large followings, that carried weight. That problem started because of his editor. She specifically said she wasn't a minor because he openly had in his bio no minors allowed. So she lied to him to get him to talk to her, and then made it look as if he was bad by cropping the messages and putting them online. I will leave a link in the description to the full messages. This is how I'm going to start Movember, because I think this brings up a very serious problem. Very quickly, men, one piece of advice. If you're in this situation with an editor that you've got online, always verify whom you are talking to. Use Skype, Zoom, or some other video chat to make sure that you know whom you are talking to. Because he had a thing that said he was not going to talk to minors, but he didn't know who she was. And so this is what got him into the trouble that he was in. Also, when you read the screenshots in full, you can see that there's nothing wrong, especially assuming that he thought he was talking to an adult. I remember watching a video from Maury, and he said that sometimes screenshots and weird things that you say can look sus when taken out of context. However, before you accuse someone of doing something this serious, you need to talk to the person. Give them a chance to defend themselves and hear what they have to say. Especially because today, we women can, if we want to, walk outside, point to someone, mainly a man, and accuse him of things that he has not done, and people will automatically come to our corner because we're female and people assume that we're telling the truth. He could scream that he doesn't know me and that he's never met me a day in his life, but that doesn't matter when it comes to what I say. I remember seeing a case where a woman did just that to get back at her ex. He went away for 9 years and then she suddenly got a conscience and decided to own up to the fact that he hadn't hurt her. And he was released immediately, but that man will never get his 9 years back. And the reason why this case seems to hit me so hard is because the guy was 23. I'm not saying that young people can't do bad things. Of course they can. But before you ruin a young person's life, you need to make certain that you know what you're talking about. When you come to a case, you cannot come in biased. You have to come in neutral. Then you can assess the entire situation. Remember that screenshots can be altered and messed about with. This situation really annoys me. This is outrageous. This poor family is going to have to be without their son because of allegations. And the thing that annoys me the most about this, as I said before, is that no one is going to face consequences, but everyone in this situation should, including that 17-year-old, because 17 is old enough to know right from wrong. In this country, you can drink, you can drive, so I think you know the difference between right and wrong. She did all the hard work, and that is what angers me the most. She even has anonymity. No one knows who she is. So men, here is my warning to you. Be careful who you talk to online. If you're going to do business with a person, make sure you can verify them using their face, and if they don't want to give it to you, then you can't do business. Maybe get your friend to do it, because then you know you can trust them. And here's another warning that I remember hearing from my nan. She always says, if you wouldn't wear it on a t-shirt, don't put it on the internet. The thing that is most egregious about all of this is the fact that they deliberately tried to bait him by getting her to flirt with him, even though he had said he was not interested. Even after she had been found out and she said what she said, she still tried to deny it. I'm gonna say this now. If it had been my family and someone had done that to my brother, then I don't think there'd be any more Mrs. Nice Trish. This is a very important reminder that this month is about men's mental health and how important it is to keep strong, not only to me, but also to each other as well, because I don't want any of you to bring out the rope necklace this month. I don't want any of you to feel so much despair that you feel that there is nowhere to turn, because we are all here for each other on this channel, and don't you forget that. Remember to protect yourselves online. Forget what anyone says. If you are not 100% sure of whom you are talking to, it is better to offend them and move on than end up in this situation. Another important thing I think needs to be said here about the situation is that if you know that you are innocent, don't let accusations get to you, because you know that what you did is not wrong. If the accusations are online, turn them off. If they're in real life, that's a bit more difficult, but you know that you can stay strong because you are doing and did do the right thing. If you turn to soil, they win, and they will go about their lives and sleep comfortably at night because they can. Unless they bring your family into this and they put your actual life in danger, please keep in mind that up until that point, it's just words. They cannot technically harm you. Please, men, this is my request to you. If someone accuses you of doing something and you know that you are innocent, please hang in there. Stay strong. The truth will come out eventually, and then they will look like the idiot. Don't turn to soil. Vincent had his whole life ahead of him. Let's not forget, he was only 23. He could have done so many things with his life. He looked like he was enjoying life. All it took was one girl to slip into his DMs and completely mess up his life. I mean, she had help. Oh, she definitely had help, but she did most of the hard work. And then she lied and said that she didn't say anything, and that it wasn't her, and that it was her friend who posted the screenshots. If that's the case, then my dog's name is officially Jacqueline. On a serious note, I really hope that his family is okay, especially his father, who had to find and deal with him. Never forget, parents are not supposed to see their children turn to soil before them. This was so unnecessary, and it's really got my blood boiling. Men, stick up for each other. I know it's the manly way to stay out of another man's business and not say anything, but if you know that a serious crime could be committed, don't do it. Say something. Stand up and defend. My dog was nearly bitten and killed by another dog. He nearly turned to soil, but a Rhodesian Ridgeback came and busted him and fought him and distracted him, and the dog went to chase him and the other dog could run. And that is why he left my dog alone. My dog has a scar on his chin where he was held by the pit bull, but he's alive because this other dog intervened. So did his owner, but the dog stuck up for Jack. And the owner of the Rhodesian Ridgeback was a child, and they put themselves in harm's way to save my dog. Surely these animals are not better than us? I'll never forget a saying from the Misery Machine. They say that if you see something, say something. I think that applies here. If you know that there is a false accusation, or if you suspect that it is not true, say something. Stick up for each other, gentlemen, because we need to look out for each other, not just ourselves. These people will be alive to get up and stretch and live their lives. The only way Inquisitor will stretch from now on is by means of the flowers that grow through him, and I think that's atrocious. Women claim that we want equal rights. Then I think that the man has the right to be equally believed until further proof comes along. Give the benefit of the doubt. It will not harm your situation, and it will allow you to look at things from a neutral standpoint until there is blatant evidence. And if someone gives you proof and is like, I know for a fact that blah blah blah, ask them where they got that evidence and look at it for yourself and verify it for yourself before you join in. Because if someone decides to act upon this, they could turn themselves to soil or be turned to soil because of you and your lying mouth. To any man who is going through a hard time, just remember that if you're considering turning yourself to soil, just remember that someone, somewhere, loves you and appreciates you, and you light up their day. You make that person happy just by existing. It doesn't matter who it is. You may or may not know that person, but that person loves and cherishes you and wants you to be happy in every way that they can. Don't let them down. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Stay strong. It's so sad. It angers me so much. We must prove that men have backing. We have lost one lamppost. The rust got to him and he has fallen. Now he's turned to soil. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen in general with the men in your life. If you see rust on your lamppost, give it a polish. Check the wires. Ask them how they're doing. If the light bulbs are faulty, maybe it's time to get some new ones, which can be difficult, but it might be important. This lamppost did not need to fall, but words have meaning and people can get hurt. Actions have consequences. If people are getting to you, talk to someone. If people are getting to you online, turn the computer off and then go and talk to a friend. Don't let it get to you. I am furious over this situation because it didn't need to happen. Please remember, my lamppost, that you are very important. Also, if you make false allegations, just remember that every time you do, you make it harder for people to come forward and for people to be believed. Just remember that if you give in, they win. We don't want that. If you're still here, then you're handsome and you're beautiful and you, well, I'm speechless. I'll let you know next time I see you. Over to the pets. Hello all, this is Sylvie. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe for more. Hey everyone, my name's Bonjo. If you enjoyed yourself, then give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. Hi everybody, I'm Jack, and if you had fun, then comment down below and let my mum know. Who is your electrician?